Hello, everybody. Louise Edington, the Cosmic Owl Astrology, with your week ahead forecast beginning February the 16th. First of all, though, I'm recording this Thursday, the 13th, so happy Valentine's Day to you tomorrow, if you celebrate. And, I want to say I really appreciate and love every one of you. If you leave comments or just listen, whatever. So, being Venus, I would like to express my gratitude for every one of you. And also, I would like to mention that the Venus Retrograde Heroines Journey class begins on February the 25th. So we're just less than 2 weeks away from the beginning, the first call now. And as I've mentioned very often, this retrograde is just. So I want to invite you just to check the link out below and consider joining the Astro Shamanic Journey. So let's move on to February the 16th. And then, as usual, I will pull 3 cards for the week as well at the end. And we'll kind of just go through it quite quickly. As usual, I will say that, on these videos, the week ahead videos, I keep it to the main aspects and don't go into all the nitty gritty of the asteroids. That's on my daily written Substack posts, okay? And I just can't do everything on these calls, but I've left some of the asteroids on for those of you that know them. And if you're wondering which one this is, that's Urania. I'm going to take a couple of these things out because they were actually about a client. So I'm going to take Urania out, but there she is, 13 Capricorn, if you want to look at her. Okay, so February the 16th is Sunday. We always start our week ahead forecast on the Sunday, just to kind of attune to where we're at. Mars is still out of bounds. He is till April, but he's started to slowly, very slowly, move back towards the ecliptic. He is moving, he's at peak out of bounds as I record this, and on this evening on February the 13th, he's going to start the very slow move back towards the ecliptic. But he's still way, way out of bounds. So that's one thing we can start the week with. We also start the week with Moon in balance, seeking Libra after the rather big full moon in Leo that was square Uranus, that's kind of rocking and rolling and causing even more chaos. So there's that too. You can also see we have Juno, partnership asteroid. Again, I'm not looking at the aspects, but I will mention these things at the very last degree of Scorpio, and Pallas Athena at the very last degree of Capricorn. So again, we are once more on the threshold of some more change, big changes, but there's also more to come. All right, let's dive in. So on the first day, on February the 16th, we have no major aspects, but Pallas Athena, the wise justice warrior who I just mentioned, will leave the sign of Capricorn and join Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pallas Athena is very associated with air signs, and she is a pattern seer and a problem solver. And in the sign of Aquarius, she's going to really start pulling pieces together to create a strategy to move forward. That's all I'll say about that right now. Then on to the next day. Again, no major aspects. We have a very quiet start to the week, apart from sign changes. But the moon will leave Libra on the 17th at 7:18 p.m. and spend a couple of days in Scorpio, and we'll pass these asteroids here. But again, I'll go into those in my daily written posts. So, but February the 18th, things really kind of begin to shift again. So we get a couple of days, really, well, quite a few, 4, 5 to kind of integrate the rock and rolling full moon, and the moon's starting to wane. But on February the 17th, the 18th, the sun enters the sign of Pisces. So it's happy birthday Pisces season, but this is just ramping up the Pisces energy, because after the sun moves into Pisces, we'll have Mercury there, Saturn there, the North Node there, Neptune there, and of course Venus heading towards her retrograde, and then Mercury heading towards their retrograde and coming back into Pisces. Last sign of the zodiac, the sign of the amniotic fluid, the sign of chaos from which we are born, but also the disintegration and the fading away of things as well. So there's going to be a lot of cleansing, a lot of releasing, perhaps some fears coming up, because this is intense Pisces energy. So, but anyway, happy birthday though to all Pisceans starting on the 18th. It's your birthday months. Let's move on to the 19th, and on the 19th we have again nothing, no major aspects, all lunar aspects, and even then not that many of those. So we'll obviously, again, I will talk about all of that in my daily post. I am going to mention one slight thing though. The moon will form a water grand trine to Saturn and Mars, and Saturn and Mars are moving apart, but this is adding to the emotion. It's a very emotional feeling period at that point of the week. On to February the 20th, and again, things are picking up. There's more aspects now. So February the 20th, the moon will enter Sagittarius for a couple of days, the sign of freedom, wandering with an A and an O, and truth-seeking. Okay, and then, though, at 12:32 p.m., we will have the last quarter moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius and 2 degrees Pisces. And that is, it's the last quarter moon, which is always known as a crisis of consciousness. And this is in the signs of faith and belief. And we're having a real test of faith right now, overall, collectively, in so many ways. And so, this is about letting go of some old beliefs, cleansing some old ideas, and finding out what's true for you. So that's the last quarter moon. And then later, 3:13 p.m., Mercury in Pisces will square off to Jupiter, who is still at the station direct degree. He's moving now, but still moving slowly. And so this is, and Mercury is the guide for Gemini. So this is about, coming after that last quarter moon. This is really about thinking about this crisis of faith and old ideas and old things, truths we're letting go of. Because, we're in a time where what we thought was true or would last is just not happening anymore. So we have to be really adaptable during this time, and that's mutable signs, and we have to adapt based on new information. So that's basically as well what the last quarter moon and the Mercury square Jupiter is about. There's going to be a lot of big kind of thinking about that on that day, on February the 20th. On to February the 21st. This week goes really fast because there's not many major aspects. The 20th is the biggest day. On the 21st, the moon is in Sagittarius all day still. No major aspects. It does activate that Mercury-Jupiter square though. So, just know that. So adaptability of truth, ideas, faith, belief, all those kind of things. February the 22nd, we're already on to Saturday. And so you can see it's a fairly quiet week, but it's a lot of cleansing, releasing, and confusion, to be quite honest, as well. But on to February the 22nd, and the moon will leave the sign of Sagittarius at 6:08 p.m. and enter Capricorn, determined Capricorn, for a couple of days. I know this is bleeding into the next week, but you're going to feel this coming. So I am going to take you into Sunday. So this will be talked about next week as well. But as we finish this week, starting February the 16th, series, our needs met and unmet, how we nurture, how we have been nurtured, leaves the sign of Aquarius. But we finish the week with the anaretic degree of Aquarius, more thresholds of change. I also forgot to mention that Juno also changed signs, sacred contracts. So we have Pallas Athena, Juno, and Ceres all changing signs. And on the Sunday, Ceres will add to the Pisces energy of that amniotic fluid, creation, also dissolution, fears, chaos, confusion, all of that kind of stuff. But also later on February the 23rd, and this is relevant because Mars will station direct at exactly 17 degrees 00 minutes. And because Mars is stationing direct at the very start of 17 degrees and really will move very slowly till it picks up speed, Mars is going to be at that 17-degree mark for so long. I will look at that more and give you the dates next week. So this is a really potent degree, as we've looked at on our videos, Kathy and I and Andy, but he's taking a break. And so, wherever 17 Cancer is in your chart, as Mars slows down towards the end of this week to station direct, you are really going to feel it. And that's added with all the Pisces energy as well. Things are going to feel like waves of change and confusion, like tidal waves, and washing away and cleansing. It's not that, again, we're not in easy times. We're not in an easy week again. But there are a few big aspects, but it's just this water energy is intensifying. So it's got a cleansing aspect. So you might find yourself on a more mundane level, cleaning out, cleansing, clearing out areas of your life that just are adding like chaos and confusion to your life. So, cards, yeah. So in my Venus class, I'm actually going to be using 2 decks. I'm going to be using the Red Seeds Tarot for a specific purpose, but I'm also going to be using the Divine Feminine Oracle by Megan Watterson, because Venus is definitely the Divine Feminine. And Megan Watterson also wrote a book on Magdalene, right? Revealing Magdalene, I think it's called. I'm actually going to put all that in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. But I just feel really drawn to using this deck as well for the class. I always kind of pull cards based on the energies each week as well. So, all right. So let's. Okay. Oh, there's 2 cards, so I'm gonna kind of just put this one first. Oh, nice. Okay, so the only thing I don't love about this deck is that they don't have cards numbered, and the index is in alphabetical order, so you can't just go to the card without going to the index first, but that's okay. So this is card 30. Let me get this for you. So this is Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Empress of Protection. And I think you are going to have to do very energetic protection this week with all this Pisces, leaky boundary energy, very emotional, very empathic energy as well. And the message on the card is, I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. So I'm just going to suggest basically calling on Our Lady of Guadalupe. Take a screenshot of this card perhaps, and call on her for protection all this week because it's deeply emotional. And adding to that message, we have Teresa of Avila. So that is 35. So we must be in the kind of protection kind of energy. So this is Our Lady of Interior Life. And she says, I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. So they've kind of got a similar message, right? Protection, going within, trusting that, knowing that kind of intuitive energy that comes through. Then the last card that we pick for the week is, I've never pulled this card before, so bear with me 1 second. 1, 2, 5. And I love it when I get a card that I've never pulled before and I have no idea how to pronounce it. So apologies in advance if anybody knows how to pronounce this. I don't have time to look this up, but this is Machig Labdron. So the diamond-hearted Dakini. She says, I see the light in my own darkness. I face my ego beliefs to feel free. Wow. I'm not going to read the whole thing from the books, but, basically all of this is saying kind of create that energy protection and listen to your inner voice of intuition, and so on. So beautiful. All right, everybody, I will see you next week. Much love.